All right, again, we're continuing on. This is What's My Sine and Cosine Lab number 2. And I did the first one already in its own separate video. I'm going to try to do as many of these, but this page is basically, we're trying to find the formula for the curves. And we've been doing this quite a while, but I wanted to make sure that you're comfortable with it. All right, so the first one, remember, I'm not going to do any shifts in these. I want you to look at the y-axis. So like trace your curve, and I want to find the formula for this curve. And when I look at it, it looks like sine. And then I'm going to do my midline, which is always next. I'm going to take my high plus my low, divide it by 2. So it's 0 over 2, and y equals 0. So I come up here and say, yes, this looks like the middle of y equals 0. I do this every single time to make sure I'm doing it correctly. Then I can come up and find my amplitude. My amplitude is high minus my midline, or midline minus my low. So that's 3. Because it's a graph, we're going to do our period first. And as I go through, it takes 1 to see it, which equals 2 pi over my frequency. Cross multiply, you're going to get your frequency to be 2 pi. So the first one, oh, that was kind of nice. I'm going to do the formula is y equals 3 sine. My frequency comes next, x, and that's it. There's no midline. So I shouldn't say there is no midline. The midline is y equals 0. So there is the equation for the first one. All right, let's look at number 2. Number 2, I look at this one, I look at the y-axis, take this, trace my curve to see if I know what I'm looking at, and that looks like a negative cosine curve to me. Midline, high plus my low divided by 2 is y equals 0. I know you might think that's crazy, but as we do other graphs, it will save you. Amplitude, high minus my midline, or midline minus my low, and it does look like the y equals 0 is right smack here in the middle. My period, I look at how long does it take me to see the whole curve, and my period is 3, so which equals 2 pi over my frequency. So when I cross multiply, I get 2 pi over 3 is my frequency, and my equation will be y equals negative 2 cosine, because I have to make sure that it's been inverted, 2 pi over 3x. So there is the equation for that curve. Well, I'm going to keep going because we're on a roll here. Stop this anytime if you want to do it first and see if you're doing it correctly. That's how you study, all right? So let's go down. Here's 4. I kind of did 4 in class because I think the answer key I put online, I goofed up. So here is, I'm starting on my y-axis, coming up here to here, and I look at that and said, oh, that looks like a negative sine curve. My midline is high plus my low divided by 2, so y equals 0 is my midline. So let's use some Christmas colors if I can here. Okay, so y equals 0 looks like in the middle. My amplitude is high minus my midline, or 1. My period is 0.5 or a half, which equals 2 pi over my frequency. And I think I put 5 online. I don't know what I was thinking. And 2 pi over a half is 4 pi, and that's my frequency. So when I find this equation, I get y equals negative sine 4 pi x. And that's it, because there's the midline's y equals 0. Well, that's nice. Okay. Oh, the last one on this page, number 5. You see there's a break in the graph. Ooh, where'd it go? Come back. So you see there's a break in the graph. So what we're going to do here is when I do looks like, we're going to start from here, come down, come up. So that looks like a cosine curve. My midline is high, which is negative 1, plus my low of negative 5 over 2. Negative 6 over 2 is y equals negative 3. So I'm going to come up here and put y equals negative 3. And I always make sure, does that look like in the middle? Yes, it does. Okay, my amplitude is high minus my midline, so negative 1 minus a negative 3. Negative 1 plus 3 is a 2. So this takes the guesswork out of it. My period is 1, which equals 2 pi over my frequency. So when I cross multiply, my frequency is 2 pi. So I did get them all done in one video. I didn't think I'd be able to do that. So I have y equals 2 cosine. My frequency is 2 pi. My variable is x. And my midline is -3. So there is my formula. So we've been doing quite a few of these. I hope you're getting down pat how to do what we do to make this simpler, and I hope this helps.